the flag we all beating our chest. When it's peace, it's the same old game, the same old players, same old names. Right. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin.
What's good, fam? And shout out to J Fuse, man. I love that song. And we got a really action-packed show tonight, man. So I got to jump into it. I got my co-host Sean on hold. I'm gonna get to him in a second, and we are honored to have Rahiem Shabazz on with us, and he is in the queue. So I'm gonna get to him right after I get to Sean, but I want to make sure that he gets a proper introduction. Also, if you are in the Bay Area, February 12th from 4 to 8 p.m., there's an event with Colin Kaepernick, Nessa Diop, the chairman Fred Hampton Jr., Hakeem Green, Van Rock from Naughty by Nature, and our next guest, Rahiem Shabazz. It's at the Shabazz Space and Science Center in Oakland, California. Check that out. It's also going to be live streamed. Shout out to MBK. Shout out to Urban Assets. And let's get the show popping. What's good, Sean?
What's going on, King? How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm not trying to keep Rahiem holding on too long, man. So I'm going to give him a proper introduction, and we're going to jump into it, all right?
All right, let's do it.
All right, man. If you have not heard of Rahiem Shabazz, you need to look him up. Google him. The brother is a director, a writer, executive producer. He's got documentaries under his belt. You name it, this brother has done it, man. Salute to him. And without further ado, we're going to get to Rahiem Shabazz. What's good, fam?
Hey, everything is everything. I'm just here listening to y'all brothers building.
Oh,
yes, sir.
man, you know, we just chopping it up a little bit, man. How's life, bruh?
Everything is good. I'm excited about the 12th. Come out to Oakland, you know, and raise the vibrational pitch of our people and give them that work.
I like that in you, bruh. Yeah. It sounds like a really dope event, too, man. Unfortunately, I'm on the other side of the country because I definitely will be there.
Yeah, I'm currently in Atlanta, you know, so I got to fly out there myself. But, you know, this will actually be my first time actually going to that particular area, the Bay Area. I've been through all of South California, so I'm definitely interested. I think, you know, the people been wanting to get me out there for the longest. It's been like almost a year in the making. You know, when I first put out the first documentary, which is called Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. So now we're on the second one, and in another 30 days I'll be dropping the third one.
And you got some people in there too, bruh.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm trying to look at the list right here, man. I think I wrote a couple of names, and I'm not sure because you had a documentary, another one besides that one, correct?
I had Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. Then we got Elementary Genocide 2, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And then we get ready to drop 3, and that one's called Elementary Genocide 3, Academic Holocaust. And in the first one, we got Dr. Umar Johnson, we got Dr. Boyce Watkins, we got Supreme Understanding, we got Killer Mike, Torrin Stevens. The second one, we got Dr. Boyce Watkins. We got Umar Johnson in that one again. We was fortunate enough to get Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who's now an ancestor. We got her right before she transitioned. We got a lot of stakeholders, the luminaries. You know, we got Kalanji Changa, we got Daruba Ben Wahad. So we got, you know, some real powerful and impactful individuals in there. Also, we got Sister Zaza Ali, and I'm forgetting a couple of names, you know. But yeah, and number 3, you know, we have almost like a whole new lineup of individuals. In this one, we have a couple of the same people, but it's more new individuals in this one. And what we plan on doing with that is we're going to show how the miseducation is to, retard your growth and your development, and that there's no difference between the assassination of your critical thinking and the killing of the black man and woman and child in the streets of America. And we're going to bring it all home and show how it's correlated. So this is like a trilogy. This is the last documentary in the series. I'm going to go on and do something else outside of documentary filmmaking, but this ain't going to be the last documentary, but it'll be the last one in the elementary genocide series. A couple of people been hitting me up and got ideas for a number 4, but I had to tell them, hopefully there won't be a need for a number 4, because each of my documentaries is more than just a film. It's a call to action. So, I'm giving everybody the blueprint, and, we just got to, follow our marching orders and get into action, because we all got a responsibility. And when you look at the word responsibility, we got to respond to our ability as the holders and keepers of ourselves in predicament. We can't rely on nobody else. We don't care about Trump. We don't care about no legislation that he's passing or anything that he wants to do from Pennsylvania Avenue in the White House. We know what we got to do. Because I tell people all the time is that, there's nothing that Donald Trump can do within 4 or unfortunately 8 years, if it go that long, that we haven't endured or been through when we went through the Peculiar Institute of Slavery. Nothing worse than that. So if we could survive that, we could survive anything that Donald Trump and his administration got planned for us.
I'm with that 100%, man. And before I get our manager's on the line too, he want to jump in on the conversation. But before I bring him in, and I think it was Dr. Umar who was saying that if a black boy cannot read by the time he finishes the 5th grade, there's a 75% chance that he will be a criminal by the age of 25.
Absolutely.
And was it Brother Supreme that was talking about how they chart the reading levels to figure out where they want to build a prison?
Yeah, they look at the reading levels, and they basically can tell how many are going to fail from the 3rd grade, and then what they do is they project and plan how many prisons they're going to build in the next 10 to 15 years to meet this demand. When I was behind enemy lines, 75% of the people that was in jail didn't have a high school diploma. A lot of them was in what they call ABE, which is called Adult Basic Education. And that's where you reading on the 3rd and 4th grade level, and these are grown adults. I was fortunate enough when I came in, I didn't have a high school diploma. I was able to obtain my GED. I went on to college, and I graduated 13 days before I got released, and I graduated in the top 5% of my class. But I also taught the GED program behind enemy lines, and that's where I realized what was going on. I seen the correlation between the school-to-prison pipeline, and that there are 7 neighborhoods in New York City, the 5 boroughs, where 85% of the prisoners come from. And when you look at the literacy rate of these neighborhoods, you look at the inequality in economics and the poverty, and then you know why. But since releasing that documentary, we have learned that the school-to-prison pipeline begins the first day that a young male or female of African descent steps foot in a kindergarten class.
Right.
The whole way that they look at young children. Some of these children are learning how to serve a sentence before they can even write one. that in itself is criminal. You
Facts.
know, you looked at by society, you know, as a gangster, by the police department, as a person of interest, and this carries on into your adult life. So we trying to break that generational curse, you know, by raising the vibration of our people and giving them this information.
That's a fact. And hold on one second, bro. Let me get Roman on the line right quick. What's good, fam? Rome, you there? All right. Well, hit me up when you're ready to get online, bro. All right, my apologies, man. So tell the people where they can, if they want to purchase one of the documentaries, where can they do that?
Anybody that's interested in purchasing a documentary can go to Amazon. You can also go directly to our website, elementarygenocide.com. With Amazon, sometimes it might take a minute, depending on if you're a Prime member. But if you go directly to the website, elementarygenocide.com, we ship within 24 hours. Every day at 12 noon, orders go out. Anybody
That's
interested in personally speaking with me as far as screening, or might just have a question and want to build, I'm on every social media platform, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and everything's at Rahiem Shabazz.
Yeah, I sent you a request too, man. Don't forget to hit us back. My skin is my sin, number one.
Okay.
Had to put that out there.
Absolutely.
You about to say something, AJ?
Oh yeah. First, I just wanted to say peace, brother. You feel what I'm saying? I actually been following you for a while because I think it popped up on my recommended videos that I seen, like a preview of your work, and I was like, wow. So the question I wanted to ask is, how long have you been, doing the research, doing the knowledge on this to make this correlation from the prison to pipeline? And when did you feel as though it's time to get this information out there? Because a lot of people are very oblivious to it.
Well, originally, like I was stating earlier, when I was behind enemy lines, I did 6 years upstate New York, and I was seeing that, especially when I was in college, I was seeing that those that was enrolled in the college program was treated differently than the other inmates. You know what I mean? For instance, I got into an altercation with a correction officer, and the first thing he said was, "Yo, you lucky I don't smack you." And I was like, "You should do that." And he was like, "The only reason why I ain't going to do it because you could read." And I was like, wow. But I told him, I said, "Nah, you ain't going to do it because you know what's going to be the repercussion after that." But this is the mindset, of how they treat people in there. And then I learned that, through education, everything that you can imagine can become possible. So when I came out, I didn't really have filmmaking on my mind. I was a writer. At one time they were saying I was one of the most prolific writers as far as hip hop journalism. I pretty much written for every urban driven magazine. But when I was in there, I wrote a script, and it was called The Summer Rise. And I was trying to get someone to buy the script, and the prices they was offering me for the script, I couldn't get my clothes out of cleaners with that type of money. So I went ahead, put some money together, and made it into a short film. Make a long story short, I started winning a lot of film festivals, and one of the film festivals I won, it's called the Atlanta Hip Hop Film Festival, and I was allowed to be apprentice on the set of one of Tyler Perry's movies. It was just supposed to be for a couple of days, so they went on and hired me, and I started out as a PA, which is a public assistant. And, I worked my way up through the ranks, and I did that for a couple of years. But I wanted to do something that was impactful for our people. And I was always of the mindset that, like what Marcus Garvey said, he said, intelligence rules the world and ignorance carries the burden. I never want to be a burden for my people. So I knew my next step had to be something that was going to be impactful, So I just went on what I knew, and I knew that would be a hot topic, And when I first put it out, a lot of people was like, come on, man, it sounds like an urban myth. Ain't nobody sitting around calculating these numbers, trying to hold black people back. We hold our own self back. And until President Obama, in one of his State of the Union speeches, mentioned the school-to-prison pipeline. And then everybody was calling me, oh, you talk about your documentary. And, I didn't coin the phrase. It was just out there. But a lot of people that are not well-read didn't know about it. And I started really doing the research heavy in 2010, but I released the documentary in the end of 2013, the beginning of 2014. So, now there's another documentary called 13, which pretty much highlights everything that I said and everything that I talked about in my documentary. And it's more mainstream, so people are catching on to the information, and I'm glad for that because I don't have a monopoly on information. I want everybody to get it. But I do find it ironic that everything that I highlighted and touched on, they did the same thing, and they gave it to the people. But, that's what they do to the original man.
Facts. That's a fact. Hey, I know Hakeem was supposed to call in about 7:30, but actually he in the queue, man. If you okay with him joining the build.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the
call. No doubt. And Sean, I'm about to bring you in at the same time. And if you haven't heard of the brother, man, manager, A&R consultant, lecturer, educator, and I don't know, maybe you've been under a rock if you have not heard the channel live, man. So salute to the king on the line, man. We're going to bring in Hakeem Green right quick. What's good, fam?
Peace. What's up? What's going on, y'all? Peace, Rahiem.
Yo, peace to the God.
Peace to God.
Right, you brought the energy with him. What's good, man? How's life?
Man, life is great. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I'm getting married.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations,
you know what? I've
man.
seen that on Facebook, too.
Yeah.
Congratulations, black man.
Thank you. Yeah, man, trying to build a nation. I'll be 48 tomorrow, so I'll get a late start. But, I'll put, I got a lot of catching up to do, and we plan on putting that work in and build a little nation. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. And before we even get started, I want to make sure that everybody know that both yourself and Rahiem will be at the event in Oakland, February the 12th. Make sure you support that. If you cannot make it, they're going to have it live streamed. Urban Asset and MBK presents Restoring Our Youth, man. They got Colin Kaepernick. They got Nessa Diop. They got the chairman, Fred Hampton Jr. They got Hakeem Green, Van Rock from Naughty by Nature, and Rahiem Shabazz. Make sure you're there if you can be. All right, I just wanted to get that out the way, man.
Thank you.
Where can they reach you at, too, Hakeem?
Yeah, Twitter, Hakeem Green, HAKIM GREEN. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, Madism Info, MADIZMINFO. Excuse me, let me correct that. MADIZM.INFO. Madism.info. That's the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, and also the website, Madism.info. Also, 24 Hours of Peace, 24HRS of Peace. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that's pretty much it.
That's dope, man. So What will you be speaking on at the event?
Just talking about 24 Hours of Peace, power of hip-hop culture, using culture as a weapon, as taught to us by Amiri Baraka Sr., of course, working with his son, Raz Baraka, the current mayor of Newark, New Jersey, looking at violence as a public health issue, and organizing the community, to fight against the scourge of violence. But, really trying to equip young people with skills, critical thinking, conflict resolution. We use hip-hop to identify transferable skill sets. So You might be an MC, or you might be a public speaker. You might be a DJ. You might be an electrical engineer. You might be a graffiti artist. You might be a set designer. You know, it's like reaching young folks exactly where they are to show them the unlimited possibilities of where they can take whatever their passion is, you know. So that's what we do with 24 Hours of Peace. And also it's an annual concert, Peace Festival concert that we do in North New Jersey for 24 hours. We shut down the main, right now it's Broad and Market, which is like the main commercial district in North. We shut that down for 24 hours, and we have spoken word, rap, R&B, jazz, tap dance, African fashion show, you know, I mean, the whole gamut. We had everybody. Last year we did Big Daddy Kane, Carl Thomas, Fat Joe, Talib Kweli, Tony Touch. We've done Rahiem, Juice Crew All-Stars, Dr. Speck, Smith & Wesson. We've done Naughty by Nature, Lords of the Underground, Davion Glover, Roxanne Shante. I mean, every year we have, you know, a boatload of our greatest hip-hop artists and community folks come out. Larry Hand from People's Organization for Progress is a huge organization that stays committed. Nation of Islam is out there every year, no doubt. You know, just trying to create a stage to put positivity on stage, as well as give you know, some light to the people doing the real work in the community, addressing violence in the many ways that we do. Kind of what we do over at 24. Wow. Yeah. That's
dope, man. And it's like both of y'all, man, like definitely putting some information and putting in some work, man, that is so crucial to our success, man. So I just want to personally salute y'all.
Yeah. And you know, I gotta hop off because right now I'm picking up flowers for tomorrow. My mother's right next to me waiting, so I don't want to hold them up. But I just want to say,
I can kind of understand that, bro.
In terms of 24 Hours of Peace and the power of it all, is that Newark, New Jersey experienced the largest decline in crime in the last 50 years in 2016. It was a 10 percentage point drop in crime. Now, I'm not going to take all the responsibility as 24 Hours of Peace, but it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of a movement that's addressing the issues in a real way. So, you know, definitely look out for 24 Hours of Peace for Urban Assets Production, MBK, you know, Rahiem, of course, with the book on the school to prison pipeline. You know, some folks doing some real work all around the country, and we just got to form like Voltron, lock arms, and, you know, elevate our power. Yeah.
Indeed.
No doubt, man. And if you need anything from My Skin Is My Sin, man, please don't hesitate to reach out, man. All you got to do is look us up on Instagram and Twitter. It's My Skin Is My Sin, the number 1. And shout out to your queen, man. Salute to her for allowing you to just chop it up with us for a few minutes the night before your wedding, man. So salute to her.
One quick question. Hakeem, when y'all bringing back the radio station?
Illegal Broadcasters. Let me shout that out right fast. Me and my homie Steele from Smith & Wesson did a talk show on Beat Miners Radio called Illegal Broadcasters. It's actually a talk show that me and Tuffy from Channel Live created back in '97. We started it back about 3 years ago. We did about 20-some-odd podcasts. Zaruba Ben Wahad, Bob Law, Davey D, Chuck D came on. You know, we had some heavyweights just trying to deal with some real issues from a hip-hop perspective. Phenomenal. You can check us out at beatminersradio.com. Beatminers.com, and check out Illegal Broadcasters. Now, we put the show on hold, but we're dropping an album called Illegal Broadcasters. We got this joint with Carl Thomas called We Gotta Love Each Other. That's phenomenal. We got a tribute to Muhammad Ali called Ali Boombaye. Crazy dope. We just dropped this joint called Obama Knew. You know, it's just trying to use, again, hip-hop, speak truth to power, to elevate the culture, to have, you know, when you out there in your protest or you out there getting in against the powers that be and you need some theme music, look up Illegal Broadcasters, please. Let us be your theme music.
No doubt. We'll definitely do that, man. And thank you, bro. Thank you. You know, I can't say that enough. I mean, over here studying.
Thank you, man. There's no me without you, bro. We got to get the word out, and independent platforms like this is so important to what we're trying to do, man, because mainstream ain't trying to really give us a voice, so we got to elbow our way through the nonsense and with the help of folks like yourself, we're able to actually do it. So.
And you know what? That's why we it's not just myself. We decided to form a media group. So it's myself, well, not just myself, but My Skin Is My Sin is Do the Knowledge Radio, is Black Eye Stand Radio, The Rundown with Renee Radio, and Get This Wisdom magazine. So, you know, we see the necessity for controlling our narrative, and we're trying to do something about that.
Excellent. Now, before I hop off, can I spin a bar?
Please do.
Let me see. Pimpin' ain't easy. What the fuck is revolution? Rappers be spitting straight noise pollution. Here's a clean glass of water. I'll show you how to eat to live. What goes around comes. Let me show you how to give. There's something that you hear when the 9 is at your rib. In the streets, tuck your jewels. Thugs drool like baby bibs. I try to stay conscious. Write something for the kids. Talk it how I walk it and rap it how I live. I came up blue collar, trying to be a scholar, but I couldn't eat the love. I nearly starved without the dollar. The pressure and the stress is enough to make you holler when the landlord's on your doorstep and the devil's on your collar. Yeah.
Bars.
Yeah.
Salute.
Little bar. Salute. Yo, I'm going to hop off, man, but I hope to see y'all in Oakland next week, man. We doing it big, restoring our youth, no doubt.
No doubt, man. Definitely appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, man. One love.
Peace. That was dope. That was very dope. Man, the bar is still there, man. They never go away, though, man. If you dope, man, you're going to continue to be dope.
Thanks.
Just my opinion. Rahiem, you still with us, bro?
Yeah, I'm still with y'all. I ain't spitting no bars though. Unfortunately, I ain't got no bars for y'all.
Not right now.
No, not right now. Not right now. You know, I'm energy personified. You know, just going through this human experience. I ain't got the bars though.
That's dope. That's dope, man. So let me ask you this, man. Like at what thus far, what was that one moment? And I asked a lot of people that, but what was that one moment where you were like, wow, I actually made a difference?
When I did my first screening, it was at the Plaza Theater here in Atlanta, and you know when I pulled up, they told me, they said, look, it's sold out. And I was like, are you serious? Because, you know, I pulled around the back, and then when I went around the front and I looked at the crowd, I was like, wow. And, you know, they had a lot of the local press and things like that out there. And, you know, it was a monumental moment because, you know, the movie's good to you because you made it, you know, and your friends, they're going to always say, yeah, you know. But to see other people that you don't know personally, you may just know them from Facebook, to come out and support and then come afterwards and tell you, you know, how the documentary was impactful. It was a beautiful thing. And then, you know, I only booked it for 4 hours. So at the end, you know, we all got to leave the theater. We was in the lobby to probably about, I want to say 1 o'clock in the morning, probably about 20, 30 of us, just continuing building. So yeah, that was like one of the moments where I was like, yeah, okay. You know, it was
that's
like that aha
right
moment for me. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you
and
this,
then
like
after
Tyler
that,
Perry.
you know,
oh, my bad,
kept
go ahead.
coming. Nah, you know,
because I'm about to
after
ask you about Tyler Perry.
Yeah, it just kept coming. You know, Umar, we brought him down here. 650 people came out. Then I brought, you know, every year in February I do something big. The next year I brought Boy Swatkins, and he packed it out as well. You know, this year we're gonna skip it because I'm in the middle of production. But I got something lined up for the summer that's gonna be real big and monumental. You know, so us, you know, we got to come together as African people, and we got to show our greatness. So I try to do, you know, things along that line. But you said you wanted to ask me a question about Tyler Perry?
Yeah, you know, you hear he catches a lot of heat, and some, you know, from my standpoint, justifiable. Some I think people overdoing it, But from your standpoint, actually working with him, what was he like?
Well, to be honest with you, my interactions with him was limited, but I was in his presence several times, and he's just like a regular person. He's just like a regular. That's what I got from him whenever I was in his presence. Now you do hear the story, you know what I mean, that he's mean and,
yeah.
he rules with an iron fist, and sometimes you have to be like that when you're running a multimedia company. But as far as whenever I was in his presence, it was always, he was just a regular person. And I think that's what people should view him as, because when we all wake up, we put our pants on one leg at a time.
That's
as far as some of the content of the movies and different things, a lot of people he get a lot of backlash for that, and there's a market out there for it. You know what I mean? And until people start demanding other stuff, or until if you don't like what you see on TV, you know what I mean, then pick up a camera and do something.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, do something yourself. You know what I mean? And see, that's the thing about us as black people. You know what I mean? We're not one dimensional. You know what I mean? You have him doing, movies like that. And it's impacting certain people. Then you have me doing documentaries a little more serious. But life ain't always got to be serious.
Right.
So it's different genres. It's different genres, and that's not to say 5 years from now, maybe next year, he may do a historical movie. Maybe he might do a movie on Mansa Musa or something like that.
And he got the bread to do it.
Yeah, he got the bread to do it. So I don't never count nobody out. Maybe he might fund one of my films.
And that's my thing.
I don't never count nobody out.
I want to see, because whether you delivering milk or you the CEO of whatever the name of his film company is, at some point in your work life, there are concessions that's going to be made. He is just on a bigger scale. I don't agree with some of the topics of his movies all the time. However, I do look at the fact that he built his own studio and hired a lot of people that look just like me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, when I was there, I don't know what it looked like now, but when I was there, I want to say it was at least 85% of us. And I'm not just talking, PAs and gaffers and stuff like that. I'm talking about in key positions.
Right.
So,
yeah. See, a lot of people can't decipher the two and split them up. You don't have to like him in their movies or understand the movement behind his madness, pretty much, or whatever he's putting together. He hire black actors, he hire black workers around him, and that's tremendous in my opinion. That alone,
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we said last week. Nino Brown handing out turkeys. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Only he handing out careers.
You know what I would want to see,
right.
though? I would want to see somebody of that magnitude develop a pipeline for distribution. That's the only thing that's missing, because we at the point right now where anybody and everybody can make a film. Whether it's going to be good or not, that's up for debate. But we don't control the major distribution to get it into these movie theaters. And
that's
pretty much,
component.
There's virtually nobody that's of African American descent, if you want to call it that can green light a movie in Hollywood. He still has to get his movie green lighted.
Exactly.
From Lionsgate. I think he's with Lionsgate. Some of his films that came out was with Lionsgate.
Yeah.
So we got to deal with that aspect. So I think that should be the next hurdle for us, to start a distribution pipeline that we can get the films out there. But truth be told, you know, you have individuals that don't go that route, you know, the traditional route of using the distributor, and with the advent of social media, we can do it ourselves. You know, I'm living proof of that. You know, I distribute, you know, online through Amazon, you can do iTunes, you can do your own distribution. You know, so you don't have to go through the traditional route as many people believe. You know, the profit margin, you know, depends on how good your movie is. It can be the same. You know, I take my hat off to Tariq Nasheed from Hidden Colors. You know, he was able to use the non-traditional approach, and it yields him success, continued success.
Yeah,
and that's a beautiful thing.
Have you heard? Are you familiar with New Era Detroit?
Absolutely.
It's a brother, Keith Horton. Him and Preach and Brick. They got a documentary actually coming out later on this summer. Revolution of Exodus, man. I've seen some of the clips, man. It looks really, really dope. We're gonna have some of the participants on the show as well, so that's gonna be a good look. Shout out to them.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely tune in. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to meet some of them brothers when they were here in Atlanta for the Black Power Awards, and I follow them on social media. Yeah, and yeah, for those that don't know, Elementary Genocide 2 won Best Documentary at the Black Power Awards. That was in November.
Congratulations.
And yeah, that was another aha moment. When you asked me about the aha moment, that was actually the last one, because I think receiving that award, you know, was real impactful because it came from my peers.
Right.
You know,
seeing a picture on Facebook gave me chills, man. I can't even imagine how that felt, bro.
Yeah, actually, I have several awards right here. You know, I have the Black Humanitarian Award. I have, what's this one? It's a Black History Award. I got the Hip Hop Film Festival Award. Peace Street Village International Film Festival Award. And, you know, but that one right there was the one I can say, you know, I really felt real good about, because, like I said, you know, it came from our peers, you know, people that, you know, that know what the struggle is.
That's dope, man.
That's so beautiful, man.
I got a question, man. So, for somebody that's unfamiliar with you, what would you want them to take from your life experiences and from where you've been at to where you are now?
That's a dope question, bro.
Is that, you know, don't ever let your past define you. You know, I'm living proof of that. You know, when I say I come from the bottom, you know, I come from the unruly streets of Harlem. You know, and I definitely have a checkered past. I was able to overcome that, and you know, I never gave up. You know, because one of the things, you know, when you come out of prison, you know, society views you as an ex-felon. I like to call our people that come home returning citizens. You know, you have all these collateral consequences, or collateral damage is what they call, where you can't vote, you can't get a job, you know, and certain things like that. And I was fortunate enough, you know, I seen that I'm not going to get a job that's going to pay me what my worth is, because even though I got a college degree, which, by the way, I never used, so I just made a way for myself, you know, as an entrepreneur. You know, like I was saying earlier, I started freelancing for the Vibe, Source, XXL magazine, Urban Enterprise, Rolling Out magazine, and I did that for a couple of years, and I started seeing that my name was getting big, and I seen that traditional media, you know, the magazine route was fading out, and everybody was going online. So I started Rock Shot Entertainment with $6 I was able to secure my domain name, and we got that rolling. And at the height of that website, we were getting 3.5 million page views a month. So I was making a substantial amount of money off of that. I was doing a lot of consulting and a lot of things in the hip hop community. And then after a while, they came out with the mumble jumble rap and all that, and I wasn't a fan of the music, so I had to switch gears. and that's another thing. Like, you can't really get stuck into just doing the same thing. You got to be willing to change. Absolutely. The universe is an ever-revolving universe, so you got to evolve with that. So that's why I say, like, after this documentary, I got something in the pipeline that I'm going to do that's going to be real impactful, And I do have another documentary that we're in the planning stage of, but that might come out in another year or two. But it's totally different. Like, it's like scenes reenacted. It's on a way bigger budget. And I'm talking with some people right now. We're working out the details. I can't even give up the title or the subject matter. That's how serious it is.
I don't want to put nothing.
I don't want to put nothing prematurely in the universe.
Right.
Because when you do that, it tends pretty much with me. When I tend to do that, it backfires on me.
Right.
I know the feeling. Tomorrow, and they'd be like, I had that same idea, or somebody send me an email how they working on the same thing that I'm doing. So I learned not to do that.
I feel that. Let me ask you this then. When you was writing for the magazines, best MC that you interviewed?
The best MC? I don't really know about the best MC, but I can tell you the best interview I had.
I bet.
The best interview that I had was with KRS-One. And the reason why, sister, she's an ancestor now. Her name was Dee Dee Cochetta. And she hooked that up, and she told me, I think she might have told me I got 15 or half an hour or something like that. We was on the phone for 4 hours.
That's dope.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I still got the tape, because back then, when they call in, you record the conversation. I still got the tape of that. And what I really need to do, I need to digitize that, put that in the archives for that, because the tapes, they pop.
Yeah, right, you definitely need to do that one.
Yeah, that was a good interview. Man, I interviewed a lot of people, man. I interviewed 50 Cent, KRS-One. I wound up interviewing Tyler Perry, Magic Johnson. I interviewed, you name them. I remember I was hanging out with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was 15 years old. We in Miami at the Source Awards. I interviewed him. I interviewed a lot of people. The only one I ain't interviewed that I was like, oh man, I should have interviewed him when I had the chance was Rahiem. Yeah.
Man, but you interviewed Magic though, man. So like I can't. You like that's Magic, bro.
Hey, let me tell you the story about Magic, right? When I was working at a job, right, and I was on my way there, and I'm driving, and I heard that he was going to be working the drive-in. It was a Burger King on Northside Drive in Atlanta. And they told me that he'd be working the drive-in there, right? I called into work, said I couldn't make it in, and I went over there. And, I told it was an individual. He had on a suit, so I figured he was the go-to guy. Went up to him, told him who I was, and I was like, you think I can get like 5-10 minutes with him? And he was like, I don't know. I'll see. And he came back, and he was like, yeah, but it's going to be a minute. You know what I mean? I said, I got all day. And I waited, and I wind up sitting with him for about an hour and really, really chopping it up with him. Because the ironic thing is I had interviewed, can't remember the brother's name, but he wrote the movie Brown Sugar.
Okay.
And he told me how the movie was called 7 Days, and because he written it in 7 days, and they wound up changing it to Brown Sugar, and he sold it to Magic Johnson for a substantial amount of money. I forget what he told me it was, but I know it was a big figure. But when he told me his story of how he wrote that script, 7 Days, he was out in Hollywood with Puffy, and that's when the situation happened with Biggie, and Puffy shut down the West Coast, closed his office, and he didn't have nowhere to go. And he pretty much was living out his van. And that's the only thing he had was the laptop and that script. And when he sold that script, that pretty much changed his life around. And he sold it to Magic Johnson. So after I finished interviewing him, probably no more than 2 weeks later, I hear on the radio that Magic Johnson is going to be at this drive-thru. So I had to go see Magic Johnson, right? So, yeah, that's how I made that happen. And, it was a very good interview. Actually, I was nominated for Journalist of the Year for that interview and the one I did with Tyler Perry.
Damn, bro, you have definitely lived a life, bro. And I mean, I'm not talking about just. I'm talking about the whole
ain't like
spectrum.
That no more. Yeah, I don't move around like that no more. I move around, but not like that. Back then, I was everywhere.
Right.
I was everywhere. I used to freelance for at one time, I want to say at least 7, 8 magazines, that will call me at any given moment on assignment, telling me, I'm going to fly you here. I need you to interview such and such. And, I was at all the big parties, the big events, and, but, I'm much older now and more laid back. I don't, I still do a little writing, but as far as the hip-hop journalism, I kind of put that pen up. Now, if I get a call and interview Rahiem, I might have to,
You're going to dust the pen off then, huh?
Yeah, I might
I would be mad at you.
Paper to the pen.
Now,
right, I would be mad at that.
You said that you used to do a lot of freelancing as far as on the hip-hop scene. Can you name some of the outlets, that you was freelance writing for?
Ozone Magazine. Remember Ozone Magazine?
Yeah, yep.
The Ozone Magazine. I did
that was
Next
a Southern
Level
magazine.
Yeah, that was a Southern magazine.
Right.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did Next Level Magazine. That was out of New York. I even did something for Don Diva. Wrote something for Feds Magazine. Source, Vibe, XXL. 3XS Magazine. Urban Enterprise. I used to write for allhiphop.com. Man, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, okay. And I remember that you said that the avenue of the magazine is dying. But do you think it's because of how social media is now, where anybody that's kind of prolific and writer can do something on their own, or where they don't need an infrastructure like a big magazine to back them up? Or
that's the problem now. That's the problem now. But the reason, when you deal with magazines, right, the lifeline of a magazine is the advertisement. You know what I mean? That's like your bloodline. You know what I mean? So when you have magazines, just say, for instance, you want a Coca-Cola ad, you're going to have at least 3 years of shelf life. You're going to have to have been in existence for at least 3 years before you get a big account like that, because they want to know that you're going to be around next year. And they don't just take out a 1 month ad. They might take out 6 months to a year, because they do campaigns and certain movie, movies and stuff like that. When you get big accounts like that, so everything moved to online. Online advertisement. More people was online. The demographic shift. Especially with the young hip hop community, which are, this generation, are the top consumers. So that's why traditional magazine went the way it did. You know, and then, you know, like what you said also, now anybody with an internet connection and a computer can become a journalist overnight. You know, and I tried, you know, I did the online journalism, you know, I did it for other outlets as well, you know, because that was a popular way too. And I started seeing that most of these so-called hip-hop journalists was glorified groupies. You know, you could tell like they was in awe with the artist and wasn't, you know, they talked more about how they was a fan of the artist and what the artist wore and to the interview and didn't really give you what you wanted, you know?
Right.
Like, you're a journalist. Like, you're supposed to move me with your words. Like, I don't care that he had on, you know, Air Force Ones. So it just, you know, when you started saying that it was becoming glorified groupies, it was just like, come on, man. This is where we at.
Yeah, you got watered it down.
Yeah, it got watered down. And truth be told, when you like that, them artists don't be respecting that, you know. Right. I was when I was on the scene, I was more so laid back and listen, after the interview, it was like, yo, what you got going on today? What you doing after this? Yo, matter of fact, yo, you want to come hang out with us? And I was hanging with everybody. You know what I mean? I would always get the invite. Sometimes I say yay, sometimes I say nay. You know, it depends on how I felt. But yeah, it's totally different. You know, and sometimes I go out to events and stuff like that, and I just see like, ooh, this is what it's about now. You know, before you had to be accredited media outlet to get on the red carpet. You know, like the last time I went out and I did I covered a movie premiere, and I'm on the red carpet, and you know, I got professional cameramen, a photographer with me, and they got professional equipment. And you had individuals that was doing interviews with their cell phone. And I'm like, yo, I can't even get the shot, man. You in front of me with this cell phone? Like, yo, what media outlet you with? Like, yo, you a journalist? Like,
MyMamaBasement.com.
BillyJoeFranchise.org.
Yeah, I had to go tell the publicist. I was like, you know, I came out here to show you love, but I can't do this. I'm like, yeah, this ain't how we used to do it 5-10 years ago. But it's all good though. You know what I mean? Things change. You know, if you ain't willing to go with the change, then you gotta either make the change or you step out the way and do something different. And that's what I did. I decided to do something different.
Man, the way that
and
you
know,
just
it's been a gift and a curse though too.
The way that you just described that. Oh,
I was saying that social media, it's been a gift and a curse. You know, there's some good,
absolutely.
you know, there's some good aspects to it, but man, there's some tragic shit to it too, man. Excuse my language, but it you know, the whole trolling situation, just some real stupid stuff too. But you know, how many of us would have known about Trayvon Martin if it wasn't for social media, or Mike Brown,
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
you know, the list could go on. You know, so
but
you know,
even without social media, there was always a way where we could galvanize people and movements were started and people was able to organize. You know, when you look at what Martin Luther King did, what Malcolm X did, Elijah Muhammad, you know, we can go all the way back to Marcus Garvey. You know, there was no such thing as the internet. You know, Marcus Garvey stood on the street corners, and then he started his own press. You know, so there was ways, even if it wasn't social media, we would have came up with a way in order to tell that story about Trayvon Martin. But the good thing about social media, everything was in real time. You know,
right?
Like you seen on CNN when they left him out there for 4 hours, dead, blood flowing in the street, baking in the sun. You know, you seen that there was no humanity in what they did. And there's no humanity in what they continue to do. So in that aspect, you know, social media is good. But the killing of black men and women and children is nothing new. It's just that social media brought it up close and personal.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are an avid reader and you read about black history and the Reconstruction and slavery, you see what they was doing.
Yeah.
But today's generation, and I think that's why documentary filmmaking is real good. We talk about social media, that's another medium, as well as film, that's another medium, because the attention span of today's generation, they're not sitting there reading a whole book, but they sit there and watch a 3-minute, 10-minute clip, and if that's how we have to give them the information and it's going to impact them and put them into action, then that's what we have to do. It's a different era. When I came up, how I got my knowledge of self, I got it from mouth to ear. It wasn't no piece of papers, to study. I got the lessons and everything afterwards, but it was mouth to ear, and we stood in the parks, we was on the rooftops, wherever it was. We wasn't confined to no wall. We was on the street corners building. But today is different. People could go online. They could study Ivan Van Sertima, John Henry Clark, and our great grandmaster teachers. And after 5 or 6 YouTube, they're an African scholar now. Did I just say that?
No, man. We won't hear that again, bro.
Y'all gonna
got a degree.
Trouble, man. How much longer
I got a degree.
On here? Y'all gonna get me in trouble, man.
I got a degree in John Henry Clark.
All right.
I got a Malcolm X degree. I done seen like 5 speeches. Go ahead.
I don't know, bro. You on as long as you want to. I know we're supposed to have Ill Conscious calling up. He also got a concert tonight, so I know you're not gonna be on too long either. But man, talk your talk, bro, because I think at some matter of fact that was right on cue, man. Yeah, literally. As soon as I said that, he got in the queue. I'm gonna get to you in just 1 second, Ill. Hold on 1 second for me, Rahiem. Let me bring the brother in.